I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I can do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
I stink of paint thinner because I was going to thin out a paintbrush and I spilled it all over and my mind wandered. I should do videos. Then I sat because I was moving the entire time. I didn't smell it. Now I'm reeking of paint thinner. So if I get a little loopy. But we have an original request. And if you have an original request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com and I will get to talk about what I want to talk about. And Reen tossed me a couple bucks. Says, hey, do too. So I'm gonna do you guys know Reen. And this one, I've been meaning to talk about this for a while. And I went on a Patrick Boyle binge, which if you don't know, he's like a much more mature, professional, better spoken economist than I am. And you want to learn, go watch Patrick Boyle. Dude can't do the THs to save his life. 30,000. 3:30 on Thursday. And he reminded me of that horrible essay I had to read for another client called AI 2027, written by a bunch of academics who wanted to write fantasy fiction, who wanted to flex their muscle. Look at what I learned in school. Oh my God, I wrote some night. And it just was literally, I think it's up there for the worst shit I ever had to read or listen to via MP3. And the whole AI 2027 thing was how the bots are going to kill us all. And they painted two scenarios. And it was just like the things that had to happen for these scenarios to happen was impossible. But everyone reacted to it like this was going to happen tomorrow. I'm like, no wonder the world is so fucking stupid. And I can't wait for the sun to go supernova. But in the analysis of this essay, they kept talking about computes, that it's capable of 4.8 trillion teraflops of computes, and then 8.7 quadrillion teraflops of computes. Please don't correct me on what a teraflop is or terabyte. I don't care. But they measured AI and its ability to do computations, which is flops, right? If I recall correctly, it's the ability to do a calculation. And I was like, okay, I understand it in this theoretical scenario. But then I heard, I don't think it was Patrick Boyle who was talking about AI, but someone said, oh, we have this many computes. And maybe it was even an AI CEO. This is computes. And then I realized nothing changes. Okay, kids, listen to me. The adults don't know shit. I should almost write a book called The Adults Don't Know Shit because they don't. And it's the same thing over and over where you basically have kind of two groups of people. One, the executive group, CEO, CFO of a company that want to get their paycheck. Okay. And so instead of focusing on the only thing that matters is profits of a firm, all right, they focus on other metrics that are not profits. At the end of the day, they are not profits. And they do this to get more funding from, I just can't believe they get billions of dollars of funding from these idiots, right? You think the adults are idiots. I don't care if it's some high finance Wall Street firm. I don't care. SoftBank will come up commonly. I believe they're bankrupt now. These big multi-billion-dollar, my God, they're so smart. They have their Wharton MBA, and then they fund shit that isn't profitable. And I understand the motive of the executives of AI companies, or any company for that matter, to make their salary. I don't understand the investors' motive to just fund fads that are not profitable. I think maybe they want to be eager on the new thing. Oh my God, .com. Every company back in the 90s, which is before many of you were born, it was E-Tegrity or iPhone, although that was profitable. But you would just put an E or an I in front of your company, and then all of a sudden your market valuation would go up eightfold. But it's the same shit. It's just some kind of people who are running a scam, making their commissions, making their salaries off of a bubble that's never going to make any money. And so what I think would be good is to review things that in the not so far away past, all the big time Wall Street investment. Oh, you're so smart. I'm going to show you the adults are idiots. No matter how, oh, look at their building there. Oh my God. Ooh, Goldman Sachs. They're fucking idiots. And so I'm going to go through a couple things, right? That are not profits, that are not cash flow. Don't want to bore you with this profits, right? These are things that are not profits that in the past and right now today, the investment people, professionals, you guys need not a slap across the face. You need a slammer, a sledgehammer. You need a sledgehammer to your nuts. When does this end? When do you wake the fuck up and realize the only thing that matters is profits? All right. I'm going to go through stuff and you guys tell me if some of these, I remember that. Or if it's like even happened today. All right. Here's this look at this big fancy research I did. I'm a big time economist. Likes. Okay. Okay. Big tech company. Likes are not profits. They're not profits. All right. It's not. Subscribers might correlate with profit, but not profits. Right? You can see that on most YouTube channels. You got your subscribers. That's almost an irrelevant. Hey, Cappy, congratulations on breaking 130,000. Thank you, but it's irrelevant. It's average views per video is really what it is. And even views doesn't matter. Here's views. Did you know views are not profits? That's right. It could correlate with profits, but it's not profits, right? I could have 3 views. But if my ad revenue or super chat revenue, right, okay, let's go through a scenario, okay? You tell me which scenario you want. Let's say, imagine you are also a YouTube idiot, right? You are on the YouTubes and you're yelling and screaming and saying things. Would you rather have scenario A, 10 million views and a nickel in profits? Or would you rather have 3 views and Dre comes in and gives you an $80,000 super chat? Would you rather? I know what I'd rather have. Right? See, yes, they may correlate, but they are not profit. Through another thing. What do we measure companies' stock prices in? What do we measure them in? What unit of measurement? That's right. Dollars, money. And the value of a company or its stock price should be determined by likes, subscriptions, views, or do you think what's going to drive the price of a stock, which is denominated in dollars, is how many dollars in profits the company will generate into the future? The only thing that could drive a financial price up is financial profits, not feel goods, not handshakes, not CEOs with nice hair. Speaking of which, DEI and ESG metrics. Now that's a little bit more amorphous. Oh my God, we hired a 38-year-old Baron Karen spinster and made her the CEO of Cracker Barrel. We hired so many not white men of varying groups, or they were white men, but they were gay. Oh my God, here's a report on, do you remember, maybe a lot of you probably didn't look this up, but back in the day, the companies would release, here's our carbon footprint. We're letting you know about our carbon footprint. Here's our carbon footprint. This is in their annual report, which if you don't know, let's say you have a life, every publicly traded company has to come up with quarterly and annual reports to update the shareholders by law. And in it, they say, here's what we're doing to reduce carbon emissions. That's not profit, which is this, it's political, but it's not profit. And under the same umbrella of politics, look how good environmentalists we are. Look how many minorities, women, Hispanics, whatever, gay, straight, whatever. We made initiatives. We leveraged our synergies to achieve some DEI and ESG initiatives. Not profits. Oh, look, you got a lady up there who just tanked your entire fucking brand. Not profits. So we have likes. We have subscribers. We have clicks. Clicks are not profits. Might lead to profit, but they're not profits. Views, we talked about this. We have sales. This was very popular in the .com days, okay? When I was obviously younger. When you want to compare the value of a company to its profits it generates, you do a thing called the price to earnings ratio. And most of you can understand this. This is not terribly complex. Say, well, what's the price of the stock? The price is $10. Well, what's the earnings? The earnings, $10 a share. What's the earnings? It's $1 a share. Okay, so I take $10 in the stock price, and that will entitle me to $1 of earnings that the company generates per share. And then you can kind of figure out, well, do I want to pay $10 to get $1 a share of earnings? I get my money back in about 10 years. Unless earnings grow, I could probably get it back sooner than that. That's a 10% rate of return, right? It's a very simple metric you can do, right? And you do this on everything you buy. You compare what you pay versus what you're going to get. So is $12 worth it for a Big Mac? No, probably not. Same thing with a PE ratio. What do you pay? You pay $10 a share in stock price. What do you get? I get $1 per year in earnings. And then it's up to you whether a 10% rate of return is worth it or not. But in the .com days, oh my God, we're so intelligent finance people. None of these .coms had profits. So what they would do is they do price to sales, right? Which is your revenue. How much money did you bring in? Not accounting for the fact you had all these expenses, right? When you sell whatever, you sell a $40,000 car, you don't get to keep all that. You got to pay your employees, your factory workers, you got to pay insurance, you got to pay materials costs, right? The steel and the rubber and all that goes into the car. There's electrical costs and energy costs to fuel the factory and all that, right? And when you subtract all your expenses from sales, what's left is your profits. These fuckwits, we're talking on CNBC, we're talking the finance shows, we're talking the Wall Street, we're talking all the professionals, the adults with the gray hair, actually wasted their time talking, well, what does the sales? Oh, sales went up. Oh, did sales go up? That's great. What about profits? Sales are not profits. And then they do what was called price to sale. Well, you see, price to sales went up from 1.5 to 2.6. Oh my God. Let's get Professor Fuckwitz in here. What do you think, Professor Fuckwitz? I'm trying to think of a real world example. It would be like, I don't know. I don't know if it maps on to the human world, what it's like, but you don't get sales. You get the money that's left over after expenses are subtracted from sales, which is called profits. But dude, they're doing valuation on sales. Sales. Related. Sales growth. Sales growth is once again not profits because sales isn't profits. But they say, but sales went up 50% and your expenses went up 60%. You have an even bigger loss than you did before. Right? This maybe would be like your wife goes on a diet. Well, I ate 200 less calories, which is a good direction. But then I worked out even less, netting 1,000 extra calories. You say, well, she ate less. Yeah, but she worked out even less more. So now she gained weight. Yeah, but she ate less. That doesn't matter. Sales grow. Again, Do you want a company where sales went up 40% and expenses went up 100% and your loss is even bigger? Or do you want sales to go down by 10%, your expenses go down by 50%, and now you got, what is it, a 40% increase in profits? What do you want? Which one do you prefer? And even to this day, oh, sales went up, sales went down. What about the fucking profits? And of course, my favorite. Listen to me. Listen to me very carefully, all of you. Now, I don't have the poll of the Wall Street Journal or the Financial Times or whatever, but this is more for you young people to understand how dumb and what posers most finance professionals are. If you hear any of these needle dicks utter the word EBITDA, bro, EBITDA is not profits, right? EBITDA, for those of you, if you care, is called earnings, which is another word for profits. Oh, earnings? Earnings. Oh, earnings. You mean profits? Yes. What are the earnings? But then they fuck it up. They say it's earnings. Yeah. Before what? Before we take out interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. That's not profits. See, bro, we took the earnings, bro. And even though we have to pay our interest and our taxes, and, like there's depreciation and amortization, which is just a non-expense measure. It's a depreciation measure. Amortize the fixed expenses that you accrued way up in the front out over time. We're going to add those all back, brah. And oftentimes, depending on how capital intensive, how much machinery and equipment you got in your firm, your depreciation and amortization might actually be your biggest expenses. So they add back a ton of fucking expenses, which once again is not profits. See, our quarterly EBITDA went up, bro. Dude, I even saw this schmuck with a license plate that said EBITDA. I'm like, there's a guy who's in debt. There's a guy who's trying to do a quick sale on something. I know this is going to hurt the finance bros. EBITDA is not profits. In only very unique, specific analyses would you use EBITDA on things. But for you rank and file people out there, you normal people who work real jobs and maybe you get laid every once in a while, all right? You're not causing a financial crisis. EBITDA is not profits. And I'll say it doesn't fucking matter when it comes to analysis. And again, unless very unique situations. And then I got one more here, market cap. The stock went up 80%. The company is worth $42 billion. That doesn't mean it made $42 billion. It just means its stock price went up to the point that the entire market cap means the total value of the company. If you want to go and buy 100% of the shares of the company, what would you have to pay? Right? I mean, we could look it up right now. Let's take a look at Microsoft's market cap. Microsoft market capitalization. $3.2 trillion. Okay. So if you want to buy all the shares of Microsoft, so you were 100% owner of Microsoft, you have to fork over 3.2 or 3.7, whatever I said, trillion dollars. That's just what you paid for the firm. It has nothing to do with the underlying profits of the firm. And what a lot of people like to do in their analysis, and when they like to flex finance, bro, dude, it's got a market cap of $2 billion. Its market cap tripled from $2 billion to $6 billion. Nothing has to do with profits. And so I just want to point that out to you kids, you younger people out there, especially as you get a little bit older, you're going to start going into the investment world. Okay. All of this is bullshit. All of this talk about EBITDA and sales growth and sales and this and that and likes and clicks and other things like penetration rates and other unique industry specific. At the end of the fucking day, none of it fucking matters, because the only thing that matters is the profits. That's it. And so all the articles and all the television shows and the watchy watch and the news coverage of the financial markets, it's like watching sports analysis coverage. It's very similar there. The financial markets and professional sports are very similar. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is, did team A score more points than team B? Who scored more points? Points would be the profits, right? That's it. That's all that matters, right? All the rest of the analysis is bullshit. Do you think Dinglebutt Johnson will be traded for Poop Fart McGee in the third draft or the second draft round? Oh, I don't know. I think in the fourth period he's going to score 3, but it's all bullshit. At, even more than the profits, because there's a larger goal in professional sports. It's to win the championship, whichever it might be, the World Cup or the Series Bowl, whatever it is. It's very important. That's what ultimately matters. And all the analysis at the end of the day doesn't matter. And some might say who wins the Super Bowl doesn't matter much in life anyway. Ah! So those are all the bullshit ones. And here's where we come to AI. I need AI investors and AI CEOs, lend me your ears. The amount of computes your AI companies do does not matter. It doesn't matter how many computes it does. And this is now becoming a metric like likes or views or subscribers. Or, EBITDA, bro, EBITDA. I'd like to say something I can't. If you ever hear somebody say EBITDA, what you need to do is you need to do something. And I'll land you in jail, so you shouldn't do it. But it feel good. Just EBITDA. What did you say? Whap. Oh, bro. Computes is not profits. Sorry to tell you. I mean, it depends on how much you want to estimate, but somewhere around over the years, somewhere around $1 trillion has been invested in AI. Not a single fucking piece of profit. Not a penny of profit. And I want to use this as an example. Look how much they're talking about AI. Not in terms of AI taking over the world and getting all you business majors fired and whatever AI can do. I'm talking about all the financial analysis and the time and effort and money that has gone into analyzing it in the journalism community, the media, the financial markets. And $1 trillion, not a Democrat. Look, guys, instead of, all you corporations spending $1 trillion on AI, which hasn't made a penny in profit, and it's gotten you a lot of computes, but no profits. Have you really, why not bail out 2/3 of the student loan at this point? I'm not for bailouts. I'm really not. I'm not for giving people who made bad decisions being bailed out of their bad mistakes, but why not do something actually tangible and practical? And again, not a Democrat, but boy, the private sector pisses away money sometimes. That's why we had the financial crisis. That's why we had the dot-com bubble. And you add those up, I mean, it wouldn't come anywhere near to what the government has pissed away in terms of welfare and the national debt. But we're talking several $1 trillion. And I guess as an economist in me, I look at it, I'm like, that was easily avoidable. All you got to say, was there any underlying cash flow to the investments you were chasing? What were you getting paid back on your mortgages during the financial crisis? Were you making a profit? No, you weren't. Were you making money in the dot-com bubble? No, you weren't. You're looking at sales. And here we have AI. You motherfucker. Now, people are you high finance people better be thankful the average public has very limited knowledge about how finance works and doesn't pay attention. But man, if you were given multiple trillions of dollars and you fucked it up, I mean, there'd be calls for doing something to bankers. There was a comic book, a goofy comic book idea like that, or maybe a video game called Banker Hunter Cappy. And I just hunt down bankers of different ranks, like you work your way up to the ultimate bankers, whatever. They be comically evil villain type of bankers. I can understand why people wanted to do things to the bankers. But as an economist, I just look at them like, how much in resources do we just piss away on computes, likes, EBITDA, bro? You motherfuckers, this better actually make some fucking profits. It better. Because so far it looks like this is just, guys, look, let me tell you young kids something, okay? In my day, if you went back a little bit before my day, not much, we're talking less than 5 years, it was global cooling, a new ice age. Then it became global warming. Then it became acid rain. Then it became the ozone layer. Then it became global warming. Then it became climate change because the globe wasn't warming. What other panic? Oh, the rainforests. They're all going to die. Africa. Oh, we are the world. We are the children. That was 1985. Then it was, what was it? It's always something. Always something. We're going to die. and we never did. Video games are driving boys to violence. Well, look, it was always a panic, always a crisis. Bubbles, it's the same thing. First, it was, well, you could go way back in history. The Mississippi bubble, the what did they call the something seas bubble? Was that the spice trade bubble? The tulip bubble back in Holland back in the day. We're talking hundreds of years ago. So this isn't unheard of. But within my lifetime, oh yeah, .com, Asian currency, housing, tech bubble 2.0, and now the AI bubble, which one could argue would be maybe tech bubble 3.0, but I guess it's its own standalone bubble. And every fucking time, it's the Tom Cruise quote, show me the money. Where's the fucking money? And at the end of the day, when they start mentioning words like this, see, we leverage our, and they do that corporate speak, and you're saying like, what the fuck are you talking about? You got to realize they're lying to you. When you hear like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, they will classically, well, you just don't understand. It's very complicated. No. It's not complicated. They're lying. It's all a scam and a racket. And to you AI investors and CEOs, to the CEOs, I know what you're doing. I get it. You found some tremendously stupid people in the investment community who gave you billions of dollars, right? If I went out to the financial markets, private equity, venture capital, or the public markets, doesn't matter, and I say I want to start Cappy's, it can't be a regular wiener dog farm where I raise wiener dogs. It has to be a digital wiener dog, wiener dogs .ai. And I got you low IQ fucks to give me $10 billion for wienerdogs.ai. And I gave you some bullshit prospectus, and oh man, it's really, and I wore the same clothes every day, and I was a good speaker. I had a microphone coming down to my mouth, and instead of running a business and raising wiener dogs, I give visionary speeches to fucking, people who listen to TED Talks, like your 105, your 106 IQ type of people. You're smart conformists. Wow, look, you're a better than average conformist. You're so cute. Right, and you guys gave me $10 billion. Oh, I'd keep up the gig. I'd keep up the racket. I'd pay myself out. And not only would I pay myself a very nice salary and hire all my buddies, I would, we're gonna conquer the moon with wiener dogs, and we're gonna have wiener dogs driving our taxis and delivering our wiener dogs are the future. And I'd pump up that stock and I'd fucking sell it and make billions. I think the guy who did WeWork, he netted out 1.7 billion. I do what he did. I think he did it all legally because it's not his fault. You guys were the ones that gave him the fucking money. Damn right, I'm going to take Morgan Stanley's money or whatever venture capitalist groups. I'll take that founder's guy's dad's money because none of you have your own money because that's how you do it. You're weak, you're sad, you're pathetic. Yeah, I'll take your dad's money. I'll take your investors' money. Wiener dog, oh my God. Wiener dog astronauts, wiener dog presidents, the wiener dogs will do everything. There'll be digital wiener dogs. I'll just put a piece of tinfoil on the wiener dog's head, strap it on with a rubber band. Look, this is our latest prototype. We need to upgrade, so I need another 10 billion. Oh my God. It's a super cyborg wiener dog. You guys are that dumb. You're not fooling me. I'm going to make sure that everyone knows how dumb you fucking gray-haired posers are. But that's what I don't get. I don't get how you investors give these people billions, if not trillions of dollars. How? How, man? How? Profits. That's all that matters. What's your cash flow look like? You could go to other things, right? I mean, sales growth is important. Cost containment is important. It's boring fucking shit. What's your balance sheet look like? I don't want you having too much debt. What's your interest rate on all that debt? Whoa, is it long-term or short-term? Basic fucking shit the average person can figure out. All you guys do is hide behind flowery words and this, we have an EBITDA, or our likes and our penetration rate. Fuck all that shit. And more recently, to you AI CEOs, which I get, I know what you're doing, and to you AI investors, fuck you people. Put up or shut up. And look, Can the media and Forbes and Fortune and Inc. and all you guys, can you stop celebrating these people? Can you I know maybe that's the only thing you got is, the top 40 under 40, top 30 under 30, which Patrick Boyle did a video on, like, there's a shockingly high percentage of those people who end up going into jail for fraud or going to prison for fraud. Can you knock it off? Stop it. Like, there shouldn't be a celebration until you actually make a this is why I like Jeff Bezos more than I would most. The guy actually turned a profit. He actually provided a good service to society. He improved our lives. He's earned it. Well, and then he had to give half away because he got married, but that's another funny lesson there. It's hey there, kids. Here's what it is. Make a profit, shut the fuck up, and go home. That's it. I want to hear about your EBITDA. I don't want to hear about your subscriptions. I want to hear about your latest raising and funding or what your valuation is. I don't want to hear about price to sales. What is your fucking profits? And if there are none, shut the fuck up. And for all you out there who maybe you have a somewhat of an interest or curiosity about finance, it's very simple. You're either profitable or you're not. And if you're not profitable, I don't care how many articles are written. I don't care how much they get in funding from low IQ investors. Right? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're losers because they took a group of people's money and they wasted it. They wasted it. Link below is my book called Behind the Housing Crash. That was me predicting the housing bubble before it happened. You might find that interesting. Let's go to the super chats. Drew, $2. What are the worst qualities of boomer bosses? Well, not, every person is different. Yes, I have had good boomer bosses. They were definitely the exception. The worst quality of boomer bosses I ran into were they were psychopaths. They're like mega maniacs or egomaniacs where I didn't understand what was going on, but now I do, is they had struggled and strived to get to a position where they were the CEO, and it was the position, not the production or the job itself that drove them. They were a vice president, and they finally got that corner office, and they would just their decisions were not based on running the company or managing the department or whatever. It was about them being a vice president. Like, they made it. It was theater, I think, for them. They finally got the leading role they always wanted, and by God, they weren't going to let reality get in the way of them. Very similar to like when you come out here during the Sturgis rally or just summer in general in the United States. Boomers are out there with their RVs with, of course, a car in tow, and they drive slow in the left lane. They don't give a fuck. It's their time. They finally made it. And instead of actually doing the real thing, whether it's getting out of people's way or enjoying their thing, it's like, no, I'm going to do, and it's my time. I think there was a lot of that. And so they'd hold meetings and give speeches, which was bullshit, and it never went anywhere. I'll give you another example. I know this is kind of nuanced, but I thought I would hate golf, right? And then I tried. I'm like, oh, it's actually kind of nice and meditative, right? Now, I don't go to fancy. I can't afford the fancy ones, but there's some cheap, affordable municipal. I'll get a little bit of exercise, a little bit of sun. You're not thinking. So I enjoy golf. I'm horrible at it. But it's like sex. You could be horrible at it and still have a good time. It's a good time. And I can also see where golf or happy hour, whatever, or conferences is where you go to these things and you actually do conduct business. You do meet up with people. Golf is merely the platform or the event by which you get together and you get to talk shop. And so I could see the practical use of golf or whatever, going on a boat, something like that, right? But these egomaniacal boomer bosses would go golf because they think that's what badass bosses do, even if they would have no business to discuss, right? That is I'm sure for those of you who are higher ranked than me in corporate, I'm sure you've ran into that where it's like, no, we're going to go and golf and actually conduct business versus, bro, let's go golf, bro. Like, bro, what about business? Oh, it's awesome, man. How about yours? Awesome. Dude, this is a tax deduction and no actual productive contracts were made, or, oh yeah, let me have my person contact your person. They're LARPing. I think that was the worst. Um, Low IQ, dumb, short-sighted. That was probably the second worst, but way more common. That was almost universal. I think it's more of a function of me being in banking, though. I don't think it was because necessarily their age. Everyone in banking is pretty stupid. I mean that. I hate you, people in banking. And also, I'm not saying it because I hate you. I hate you. And also, the fact is, most people in finance are dumb. Um, and then just standard lying, I think would be, these are all very closely ranked. Lying about the job description. And so when you get there, like, oh, we're changing this, we're changing that, no. Those would be the three worst traits of a boomer boss that I ran into. I'm sure other generations of bosses have the same thing. I based on what I hear, Gen X bosses are no different. I can see it. But those were kind of the three things I found worse. Inquisitor Tibby, $5. TFM would like to get a review copy of Zero Problem. Okay, all right. Wish you just email me. He likes his privacy, so I just can't like drop a copy in the mail for him. Femboy Fantasia, $5. I tried helping Cappy with home project. However, when I pulled out my 3M safety glasses, he started cussing and threw a bottle at me. What are you talking about? I have safety glasses. What are you talking about? I have safety because you want to protect your eyes. Drew, $2. AI fat is a big reason why I don't watch it. Oh yeah, once you realize, like, let's say we went back to the 60s. Okay, the news was the news. It was probably important you turned in for that 30 minutes or half an hour for international and 30 minutes for local news. I think that was important. Maybe you should have read the newspaper back then. Now it's all entertainment and bullshit. Even my own, like, I used to derive tremendous joy from YouTube. I loved it. I even pay for YouTube Premium because I don't want to listen to the ads, and I could listen to anything I wanted from different minds about different topics and things, and it was great. And now the feed, and in YouTube's defense, the people, the content creators, have all gone to maximize profits and, oh my God, shock and loud font and this and that. Which I understand if you want to make money, but now this is why really watch Patrick Boyle. You may not even like the topics he's talking about, but at least it's engaging and entertaining. The nerd podcasts I listen to have kind of all decayed a significant amount by about 40%. Oh my God, this latest thing. And it's starting to become clickbait drama. It's just basically drama in the video game industry. It's not important things. So just like the media went 24 news cycle for entertainment reasons, it's happened in YouTube as well. So I almost can't listen to the news anymore. Or I'm sorry, I almost can't listen to the channels I used to listen to anymore. I long stopped listening to the news because no one gives a fuck. I said, this is what we should do. Shut up, fascists. We're going to kill you and get you fired. All right, never mind. Oh my God, why can't we afford housing? And I can't find a job with my worthless degree. I told you not to major in that, but you said I hated women. I don't care. Potato sauce, 5 Australian. I like the AI craze. It keeps prices of my holdings at realistic valuation, so I keep loading up on them and get my divvies. Oh, so you invest in other firms, I presume then. Drew, $2. You should write a book about dude bros and boomers. No, the book Behind the Housing Crash, that is about dude bros. Look, do you hate boomer bosses? Do you hate bankers? Do you hate finance and douchebag, douche canoe dude bros? Go get the book Behind the Housing Crash. I mean, admittedly, it's what? God, that is it's 17 years old. Holy shit, I'm old. We're coming up on 20 years I wrote my first book. Go get it. It's a good book. I mean, yeah, there's numbers and math, but unlike all my other books, which are kind of like philosophical or very I don't know, very not fiction. This book is also not fiction, but it also tells a story. Like, there's more human stories, and this guy did that, and this crazy thing happened. I think it's probably the most entertaining of my books, except, okay, let's admit, my most entertaining book is Boris the Shitting Buffalo. That's epic. You got to get that one. But then if you wanted something that actually tells a story and isn't just analysis and doom and gloom, go get behind the housing crash. Swallow Blue. Buddy, I hope you're doing well. And maybe you got your own apartment. Hope you're doing okay. When it comes to tech investment, investors don't expect a return on investment for 10 years. Right. I understand there's some investment horizons. Like, yeah, we don't expect to make a profit for this long. But here's the thing. Aside from Amazon, Swallow, name me one company that ever then did turn a profit after 10 years. They never do. It's like well, I'd have to go and do the analysis, but I mean, yeah, okay, some .coms did make some money, but for everyone that did, how many tens or dozens just lost all the money? And we've been doing this AI stuff for about 4 or 5 years now. I'm still waiting for it to revolute. I'm aside from making some images that I can use as thumbnails. All right, what else does it do? Really? Well, it might help people with some low-level, white-collar clerical tasks, but what really for trillions of dollars? You know what we could have gotten for trillions of dollars? We could have gotten a synthetic oil industry where we could just create our own oil out of not petroleum, out of not oil in the ground, use synthetic oil. $1 trillion, again, you could pay off 2/3 of people's student loans. $1 trillion, you could do a lot. You could expand the highway system. You could really alleviate traffic. That would benefit everybody. Oh, look, you could Photoshop Joe Biden's head on something. Oh, isn't that great? I'm glad we spent $1 trillion on this. You are right, Swallow, but here's another thing. What company sticks around for 10 years? So I'm kidding. You may know. If you do, Swallow, you got my email. Why don't you just if there's like, oh yeah, look at all these companies actually did after 10 years make it. I think that's just a fraud and a bullshit. I think there's like, oh, we're expecting 10 years. So they got to keep the gravy train going for 10 years. Ah, it didn't work. Sorry. Meanwhile, the CEO and all these executive team buddies got paid executive salaries for 10 years, right? I think that's a more plausible scenario where I say, well, look, this technology needs 10 years to mature. Oh, okay. I'm like, motherfucker, you better make a profit in 3 years of getting the fuck out of here. You could be right, Swallow. I just haven't seen it. Generation Apollo $2. I remember when companies thought tweets equaled money. They still do. They still do. Mark Magana, $2. Saw McDonald's CEO on TV. It all makes sense now. Who is the McDonald's CEO? Now you piqued my interest, Mark. McDonald's CEO. Oh my God. What are these weak ass dude? So what is it? Chris Kempczynski. What is with these weak soy boy white dudes that, and no offense to my own gender and race, but he's got a look. Just like the CEO of Stellantis, who left, just like the CEO of Jaguar, who left. There's a look, right? Like this guy, I don't want him to be CEO. He doesn't look like a bold leader or visionary. Like we're gonna turn things around. We're gonna make hard choices. This guy looks like, ugh. Like he doesn't look like he golfs. Drew, $2. I never jump on bandwagons with investing trends. Vlad Elkins, CPA. Flights are officially booked. See you in October. Vlad Elkins and the candidate are going to come visit Cappy in October. It'll be a good time. Mark Magana, $2. AI seems to be a glorified search engine. It's not even that good of an engine. Like when I appreciate the convenience that AI has with the results, but it's only right 65% of the time. And I got to further go read. Okay, what AI has done, which a search engine could have done, is it came up with, here's all the links that have the answers to your question. And then I just go through the links, making sure it's real data. I guess maybe it saved a little bit of time. I know when I had to go and use a Google search engine, any search engine, I'd find the data and I'd verify, oh yeah, this is exactly the data I needed. This is exactly measuring what I wanted. Now it's like, I think AI is right. This is what AI says. It's like Wikipedia. It's right 73% of the time. Kind of, maybe, sort of. Oh my gosh, Professor Fuckwitz, thank you for visiting us, sir. PhD, $5. But Aaron, accounting hasn't caught up with the new paradigm of AI. You just don't understand these business models. You don't want to miss out, do you? Dude, you know what would be fun is, again, listening to Patrick Boyle, and he's talking about whoever the person was in charge of WeWork, and then Sam Flankman, the guy in charge of uh, the digital currency bank or whatever it was. How do these guys, just these skis, these slick oil salesmen, how do you get? Because I'm wrong, right? I look at them, I think skis, I think criminals, I think liars. But they're right, and I'm wrong. They're the ones that got billions of investment from people. How do you sell them? How? How do you convince what should be guardians and fiduciary chaperones, the guardians of people's investors' capital? How do you get these people to give you so much fucking money when you don't have a fucking product? How? And this gets in the world of like psychology and ego. And I guarantee you, Professor Fuckwitz, if you have some academic time to research this, I bet you know what plays a role. It's got to be popularity. I don't view popularity as this thing that happened in school. I think popularity is more of an operating system and a value system that is instilled in kids starting in school, and it carries on for the rest of your life. It's like they gotta, like the entrepreneur real estate development bros I had to deal with, the boomers back in the banking days. None of them made money. They all knew they weren't making money, but they had to be popular. So they had to get the boat, they had to get the car. And so I wonder if it's these investment, whether it's venture capital, private equity, hedge funds, actual investment banks, are they ego driven? Are they driven by psychology and popularity, and they just throw out fundamentals just because it's current thing and popular? It really does seem like that. None of them gave a fuck about fundamentals and all the different bubbles I looked at. I understand even if you're a banker and you're making a commission on deals, not the profitability of those deals. Okay, I understand. You're just a broker then. And that's basically what all banks were back in the day, were brokers collecting their commission and cut back in the housing bubble. But you're taking billions, oftentimes of your own money, and you're giving it. Like, what are the magic words, right? What are the magic words I got to say to an investment manager to give me $10 billion? What are those magic words I have to say that you give me money and I just can run off with it legally? It's on par with what are the magic words I utter to a girl and she's in a French maid outfit banging me in the kitchen, like, who I just met on the street, right? That's the level of magic I think these guys have, which there's no such thing as magic, but there is psychology and there's popularity. I would put that on par. If I could utter words to an investment manager and they gave me billions of dollars, that would be on par with I could utter words and now a girl wants to have sex with you. Who is attractive, by the way? Ass bucket, $5. I've learned that when they say it's complicated, it really isn't. It's just a C-suite average IQ dumb bros complicating it. Fuck them all. Absolutely, ass bucket. It's not complicated. Dude, nothing is complicated. Even nuclear physics, like I explain this part, then I explain this part. And as long as you understand each part, I can get you to understand, how gravity or mass bends the space-time continuum if you build it up. But man, I'm trying to do some basic stuff in Linux. All these Linux people on the internet, well, you just do this thing and that thing, and like they're introducing you just have to recompile it, bro. What the fuck does that mean? Well, if you don't understand, like, no. You had to spend at least a day figuring out what recompiling means. What does that mean? I'm not an idiot because I didn't spend an hour not figuring out recompiling. What is it? Look it up. Well, I can't imagine why Linux people don't get laid. Uber noob, $5. The top end of model performance is highly convergent. i.e., OpenAI looks like Anthropic. So these models are likely commodities. I bet none make much. I don't even know what the top end model performs. Convergent. I don't even know what Anthropic is. See, Uber Noob, you're probably more researched on the AI than I am. So these models are likely commodities. I bet none make much. They're certainly not going to make back their money. That's not going to happen. Drew, $2. Why hasn't Trump eliminated the student loan program? I don't know. He does some things and the other things he doesn't do. I don't know. I try not to let it bother me, Drew. I try not to watch the politics. But he'll do all this stuff, and it's like, you want to eliminate the student loan program? Like, there's these things Trump could do that would just cause it's the silver bullet, right? Instead of arguing like we need to reform education. No. The silver bullet is to cut the Gordian knot, end the student loan program, and everything else will fall into place. I don't know why. He's not me. I can't imagine that with all the people he has working for him in education or economics, that someone has said, hey, do you know flooding the market with $6 billion in student loans every year is what's causing high tuition prices? Let's end that. And do a public campaign like, look, here's the deal. We're cutting the student loan program. It is not to hurt students. It is to help them. This is what has kept your student tuition so high. And then the other thing, another silver bullet Trump could do is go with the Department of Justice or the Department of Justice, and investigate every one of these cocksucking university bookstores that go and force you to buy the professor's book. That right there would be antitrust. You go in there, dude, you want to get young people on your side? Right there. You go tackle this student book scam. That there's got to be some antitrust shit going on there. But they don't. I don't know why, but they don't pay me. Ass bucket, $5. The worst is a boomer pulling a camper and another trailer with a boat at ATF. And yeah, yeah. Uber noob, $2. I used replacement value to analyze cyclical business. Oh, yeah. Like how much you'd have to go and buy the individual assets to recreate it. Yeah, no, we used to call that cost. But yes, that's a way to do it too. Yeah, you're not bad. Look at you, Uber noob. You've gone up in my estimate. I didn't know you knew all these fancy words and you know about valuations. Femboy Fantasia, $2. Don't you know Cappy 3M is a St. Paul company? Yeah, I know 3M is. Well, oh, I see what you're saying is you you don't want me to support a Minnesota company. That is correct. 3M, I believe, one of the widows of one of the founders way back in the day, even, I think is alive today. She donated all this money to these nonprofit leftist causes. This is why you can't. Go read Rachel Wilson's book, The Occult Origins of Feminism. Dude, all these rich dudes would go get the trophy wives or their mistresses or whatever, and they die and they leave the money to these women. And these girls would just go and piss it away on leftist Marxist horseshit. Not consciously. We weren't giving the money to the Communist Party. But it was all this nonprofit, all this woo-woo, wowie-woo shit. And it's the same thing. This guy, I remember, like, donated all this money. I think it was the NDN Collective. That you could look them up. They're out here in South Dakota. Not sure on that one. But it went to all these basically anti-American companies or nonprofits. Yes, so I try not to support 3M. Burbshide, the 2 Australian dead internet theory accelerated 1,000-fold. No shit. Micah Robinson, $2. AI ate my homework. Well, isn't it funny that kid who graduated from whatever California school and he had the AI laptop and he's like, look, it did it all for me. I'm all for that. Look, if Trump or any future president, and it's not Democrat or Republican, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but for all you young people, the best thing to happen to you and the cost of education would be the government to end the student loan program. All right. All of a sudden, there's $650 billion a year less flooding that market every year. What do you think is going to happen to tuition? But in the meantime, I'm all okay if you guys just like, yeah, that's why I promote what's it called? Academic composition, where Alex writes people's papers for them. Yeah, fuck that. You guys make it so hard for people to get a college degree, to go get not even a living wage job. Fuck you people. And then Josh Fluke, yeah, lie in your resume. Dude, Employers lie about the job description, you lie in your resume. Absolutely. There's no honor here anymore. Professor Fuckwitz, $2. Whoa, whoa. What is this about not buying books? Exactly. Exactly. Maybe I should. Trump. There. All right. That's it. Link below, behind the housing crash. It's over, by the way, if you didn't know. You might find it interesting. And then Boris the Shitting Buffalo, which is not linked below, but you really should get, if you like, I have a work of fiction out there, one work of fiction. Boris the Shitting Buffalo. Check it out. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.